Hello everyone, welcome. We're going to jump into a premiere draft of War of the Spark here. It's my second draft of the day, and I'm not sure I'm going to get all the way through all the games today, but we're definitely going to start at least. And I'm updating my little bottom line there, so we see that it is War Premiere. Definitely want to try this out. When War of the Spark was around on Arena in its original appearance, Arena was still draft bot only. You could not draft with 7 other human beings. Now they have draft with humans on Arena, and they have returned War of the Spark to one of those queues. Often old sets will come back to the quick draft format, but that's bot draft, so you haven't really solved that no human problem, or one human problem. And now we have that solution. It is apparently enough of a population on Arena now that they're willing to add these extra queues with all humans and give us a taste of these formats that have been on Arena for quite a while, but never as a draft with 7 other humans. So most of my War of the Spark play, to be honest, has been against bots, not against humans. So like in my mindset, oh, you got to go red-blue because the bots give you red. Oh, wait, this isn't bots. Like we actually have to, I actually have to pay attention and try to draft a deck here and not just try to exploit the bots. And that's going to make it a little more challenging. If you want to exploit Card Kingdom, well, you're going to have a hard time exploiting them because they set their prices properly, but you can certainly exploit their good prices and their great inventory and their great customer service for your gaming satisfaction. Everything you need for your tabletop action is at cardkingdom.com. Supplies, single, sealed product, incredible inventory, great buy prices, the envy of the industry buy prices. You will not find, if this changes, I'll let you know, but for as long as I've been streaming and before, Card Kingdom offers straight up the best buy prices on average on Magic cards in the industry. I've never seen anybody challenge me on that, and anybody who's done any hard looking knows exactly why. They just crush it. So if you're looking to convert cardboard into cash or credit, please keep Card Kingdom in mind for that. They're going to give you great value on your cards. And if you do, just remember to go to my affiliate links in the YouTube notes, in the chat there, in the panels down below, and let Card Kingdom know you got there from here and help keep me on the air, okay? Thank you, gang. Much appreciated. Let's dive in. Let's see how fast this fires. I don't know if this is going to be more or less popular than, like, more Kaldheim, for example. Yeah, I'm not going to not force it. The point is, again, Hodge says that Hodge found a nice blue-red deck. I think blue-red is a great place to be. And one thing about these returning formats is that often the people participating don't remember or are new to this format. So if you were around during War of the Spark and got some practice and have some memory of it, you're going to be at an advantage here. And against bots, I pretty much almost hard-forced red-blue by the end, but I do think it's among the better color combos such that if it's open, I'll go for it. We've got an Eternal Skylord there for that. Eternal Skylord is a great blue card, but we have a Mythic. Let's check this out. 5/5 for 5. Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, double the power of each other creature you control until end of turn. Those creatures gain Vigilance until end of turn. So double the power, not the toughness, so they can still get blocked and traded with. When it dies, put it 3rd from the top. Probably good enough. True says Ronus is amazing, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess any of the gods are amazing in the sense that they don't go away. They just keep coming back. Even if you exile it, it keeps coming back. Nothing else is good enough to really compete for this. I think that this might true. Given the other gods, where would you rank this though? I think this might be the worst of the gods, but the worst of the gods in this format is still a first pick. Interesting second pick. Couple of gold cards, both match our first one. I think we want one of these gold cards, but which one? Prowler is sets you up for potentially going beyond 2-color. Ambush. Oh, it's removal. It just reach out and kill your removal. Whew. Very, very good. Both of these are very, very good. But you can see where I landed. I think I'm on Prowler. I'm going to take it. Taskmaster, great too. I mean, this is amazing. This is really good. Look at this. Look at what this does. We're not even, I didn't even think about it because this is just so much better for green-black. But this is great as well. Well, is this first pick or third pick? What the heck is going on here? I mean, I'm not surprised this is here. This is quite a commitment. We're going to take it though, because we're already on this path. But I just want to point out that I want Kaya. Kaya is very good. Kaya is a 2-for-1. Spark Harvest, one of the more important removal cards in the format. Toll the Invasion, incredible. But yeah, we're going to try to deliver some casualties. And then we get a Cruelty. Look at this. Epiphany still here. Hodge was saying blue criminally underdrafted. Epiphany still being here might be suggestive of that, but it's an easy Cruelty for us. This jumps out at me as fine, and in our colors, Storm the Citadel. This just never did what you wanted it to do. You know, you look at it and think, oh, maybe this never really worked. Because the second part of the clause never mattered, and this is no overrun. +2/+2, no trample is not +3/+3 trample. Dismissal, interesting. It's just we're not at all blue yet, other than to have the potential to splash. And maybe this is soft enough that you could justify this. I mean, Hodge and Kaya might be better, but I don't know. Casualties is great in the right colors. I'm going to take the Druid to stick with our colors, but I hear you, Hodge. Dismissal is totally reasonable there. But then look, what is this Greeting doing? Toll is also great, but look, what is Jaya's Greeting still doing here? If we're in a world where a lot of the people we're drafting with aren't familiar with the set, like, it's understandable that Tolls would go late. This is a great card in the format, but it doesn't necessarily read like it. This is the type of thing that we all came up on after we got used to the format. It's not like we came in thinking Toll was great. We learned that Toll was great. So it doesn't surprise me it's still here, but I think Jaya's Greeting is too strong not to take. It's signally even. Tithe Bearer is fine, and I think is better than any of our other options. None of the red stuff is attracting me to red, and we're not going to pivot to white at this point. Another not going to do it Storm. Guild Globe, fine, especially if we're trying to splash a little bit. Another Tithe Bearer, also fine. Shriek Diver, playable but not great. But Globe is fine. Globe is good if we're looking to potentially splash. Gives us 2 colors to the splash, two sources to the splash. We could get Crunchy, Crunchyroll, but I think we just want the New Horizons. Helps with the splash, and the +1/+1 counter is real, and when you can then potentially proliferate it, it gets good too. Prismite, I would rather have the Horizons in a green deck, but you can run this as a filler. You don't want to be running Prismites, though, if you can help it. Heartfire, Spellgorger is real good in the blue-red deck. Really surprising to see this here. This is a very powerful card in the format, not necessarily for our deck, but I think I like Heartfire given the possible splash of red. If we were base red, I would just take the weird. Rubblebelt Rioters, maybe we need to take this in case we are splashing black. Somehow double black could be splashed in a world where we're New Horizonsing and stuff. Tithe Bear probably just good enough to take a second one, though. Like, I went with a second Tithe Bearer, but somewhat signally. Maybe I'll wish we were in red-green, but Tithe Bearers are good. They do draw. It's a 2-for-1. I mean, 2-for-1 and a 4/5 that stays behind. It's actually pretty demoralizing to see a Tidebearer land on the other side of the table when you're kind of at rough parity. Really lousy pack for us here, like lousy. We're green-black base, and this is what they offer us? Ugh. Pukey puke. Roll reversal not good enough with a double blue. I guess this is red, but double red. Yeah, this is all bad news. Yeah, we could spec on Beacon. But I think it's, yeah, I'm with True, or yeah, with Math. I think it's one of these two again, and probably just New Horizons again. I don't love it, but a couple of New Horizons can be a plan. Ramping to Casualties of War can be a plan. Ramping to God Eternal Ronus is a planish. Finale of Devastation is takeable. It's not even amazing, but there's nothing else here for us. Triumph is not that good. Grazer, not really playable and limited. It just doesn't do enough. Steady Aim, not going to get there. No, like, maybe we... yeah, maybe we take Epiphany, although I think I'm Finale good enough here, but not a great pack. The Elder Spell. I thought this... What's the Elder Spell going for these days? Is this bulk now? I want to look up Elder Spell on Card Kingdom. $0.59. Yeah, I don't know. I thought this could be a thing. Is it solid for us? I don't think it's solid for us right now when there's Toll or Herald. Maybe just take Toll. Mayhem Devil, a little bit interesting on the red splash. But I think Toll is good enough to just focus on... We might not splash red here. I'm just taking the Toll. Solid, monocolored, playable in our color. Like, good. Not just solid, good. Tidebearer again. I don't know if I'd play 3, but you never know with these types of decks. But if Vraska's Finisher works out okay in this format, it gets Planeswalkers, and that really matters sometimes. Yeah, the Elder Spell in best of 3, much better, but it can be an absolute blank, so I'm not going to take an absolute blank. Shriek Driver, I think we need a Wrangler here. Thundering Ceratok, also interesting. But I want more to do on 2. Right now, our big 2 plays are red. I'm going to move these to the board to remind us that that's kind of a splash as I'm looking at. And this isn't a 2-drop, right? So our 2s are just dismal. We need to wrangle for sure. This is a format where you really need to get on board on 2, or both to either protect or protect your Planeswalkers and or pressure theirs. We don't have a Planeswalker yet, but they're just all over the place in this format because every booster pack has one. Pyrohelix on the splash, Bond on the whatever, I guess I could play it. Same thing with Grizzly, whatever I could play it. Grizzly just never seems to hit. Like, you can play it, but it almost doesn't do much. Still, I would rather have it than a Bond of Flourishing, I think, which is not getting on board fast enough. It's just wheel spinning too much. One Grizzly is okay, but this is not a good Magic card. But 1 is okay. A 2/3 for 3 is not hyper embarrassing, and sometimes the game goes long enough where you do get some value out of it. But yeah, we seem to be really cut now. +2/+0 and Indestructible, not really good. Blue wide open. We could, but none of this is particularly good blue. Totally Lost is okay. I don't know. What was that? Whatever it is, I don't even want it. Oh yeah, it's Unlikely Aid. Forget that. We're not playing that. Unlikely Play. Laptop Behemoth or just a combat trick. We could take an Ogre. Yeah, maybe we could pivot towards heavier red. I'll put these back in to see that. I just don't think so, though. I think we're too far away from heavy red. I don't like that hippo at all. Not with 2 Tithe Bearers. Return to nature. Yeah, I guess we can take Thirst. This was one that we thought was a decent removal spell when you saw it early, then just fell and fell and fell and fell. Too many things survive it. A lot of 3 toughness in the format, and the black is oppressive as well. Take a Turret Ogre here over a Grazer, though. Yeah, Siriana, it looks like red is more open than black. So given, I mean, hard to pass a Casualties 3rd pick when you've gone green card Prowler. It doesn't matter. Not playing either. We have a 3rd pack, though. I mean, this is almost a deck after 2 packs. So while looks like red-green was a little more open, I still like where we're at. Yeah, I could have taken Silverwing as a potential flyer, but I really don't like that card. But you got to do what you got to do, I guess. And more garbage. Just really rough on us with these opens. I mean, we found the right lane, or a reasonable lane, and then have just had it really be tough. I suppose this is a rider's pick. It's just not a very good one, since it... I'm actually going to take Pollen Bright Druid. We might wheel this, but our 2s are that dire, in my opinion. Heartfire and Jaya's Greeting don't count. Sorin's Thirst is a maybe. We need things like Pollen Bright Druid. And it makes me want the Wrangler here as well, or the Operative even. What are we doing to get 4 power on board quickly, though? Like, nothing here is coming with the big power. I guess New Horizons on a 3 power could help. Math says Wrangler over Operator every time, but Math, if you are 0% to ever grow the Wrangler, then obviously it's the Operative, right? But we do have counters. You're not wrong. I also think we're more... Well, we got that. I don't know. It's tight. If it were earlier in the draft, I would be snap all over it with no problem. But we're getting pretty late to actually make it good for us. I think we just want another cruelty here over getting into the Shadow Mage side of things. This is fine. Krenko, hard to pass when you've got a red splash. And surely this says, boy, too bad we weren't red-green, huh? But we're taking Krenko. Krenko, throw a New Horizons counter on it. That could be good. Rampage, more of a constructed card as well, but we can play it. If they only have 1 Planeswalker, you can get them. And the fallback of getting their worst creature is not the worst. Don't know. We'll take it and consider it. Honor of the God Pharaoh or Weird. Looks like we're getting closer to straight 3 color. Weirds are good if you're doing the spell thing. I mean, we've got 6 instants, 4 sorceries. I don't know how many of them we're going to play, but we're actually pretty low on creatures, so let's take the creature that gets better with the non-creatures. Oh, and it's non-creature? Yeah, it's non-creature. So, like, all those... we have a pretty hefty non-creature count. Spinner over Ogre. This is a 2-drop I can get behind. It's kind of what we need. Just a little... something to help us survive the early turns. We can consider another Giant Growth, which I like better than anything else here, but probably only playing the 1 if we're playing the 1. Maybe you think we're redder than we are. I don't know. I'm playing the Krenko. I'm playing the Jaya's Greeting. Probably playing the Heartfire. Don't know about Weird and Rampage, though. I thought we found a reasonable lane, and then the lane just really dried up on us. Yeah, we could go red-green, splash cruelties too. I think I really want to... The Leyline Prowler is really strong, and so is the casualties. That's what's really keeping me pulled towards those colors. But then we get another Riders here. We might... this is the Wheeled Riders, further suggesting we could do this plan. Certainly not taking an unlikely aid. Don't want a third New Horizons, so it's really the only pick anyway. Crotchety could be part of red. This is really decision time. Operative if we're base black. Don't love the Thirst. Yeah, I think we're actually... Yeah, I'm on red now. And then a Heartfire to clarify that a little as well. All right. Forced switch. All right, table. All right, we listened. Blind Blast is even a possible play here. Let's go creature versus spell. Only 6 cuts anyway. 15, 14. Note that New Horizons is straight up single card fixing for casualties. Unlike, the Glittering Frost, the base land taps for whatever it is, and then it adds an extra color on top. New Horizons gives you 2 of a color. So a single New Horizons gives you 2 black, regardless of what the New Horizons is on. So I think we keep the casualties in if we're going for the red-green base. And we cut the Finisher, the Toll, the Rampage. Probably just cut this Giant Growth. This Blind Blast is playable, but should go here. And then we're into, I think 1 Tithe Bearer is probably okay. At the top end for a black splash. Just, it's fine. Is the green finale worth it? That's a good question. I kind of just presumed that it was, but I mean, what are we getting? Is it worth paying 2 more to get God Eternal? 7 mana God? Probably. Krenko? Or is it green only? Creature card, so it doesn't have to be green even. We can get Krenko. I think the presence of Ronus and Krenko in the deck justify the finale, but it's not obvious. Yeah, that's a good point, because you can search your graveyard. If they've killed Krenko, we can just go get Krenko from the yard. Excellent point. Ronus is never going to die, but this goes back and gets us Krenko anyway. Okay. That means what do we need for swamps? Not this many. Do we need the Leyline Prowler even? Are we... Because this is... You don't want to splash your fixing, right? We could cut the Prowler and put back something. Yeah, Ronus could be discarded or something. That's true. We might want to run it anyway, but I just at least look in. Oh, Turret Ogre should be in. Let's get this Ogre in. Yeah, we might run the Prowler anyway, but just taking a look. Yeah, I think I want the Prowler and the Ogre, so then maybe cut Grizzly. Again, Grizzly just never really lives up to its promise. It's just a... it's really a 2/3 for 3. You should really think of it that way. And then if you happen to get value, you lucked out. We could run a Giant Growth. It's solid. We just have a lot of spells. So let's go back to looking at what, if we play a Giant Growth, what are we cutting out of the spells? We could cut a Heartfire. Maybe we don't have as much sacrifice fodder as I'm thinking. And then bring in a Giant Growth. I'd be down for that. I want one of these. I guess we're making fodder with Krenko, but there's not a lot of natural fodder per se. Maybe a Pollen Bright Druid after it's done its thing. No, we haven't touched the mana base yet. We're not playing this much swamps. Yeah, is that enough math? I don't know if it's enough for 2. It's certainly enough for 1. I'm not cutting both. I'm certainly playing 1. The question is, do we want 2? And if not, what else are we playing? I could play the Blind Blast as an arbitrary, or this Giant Growth. Yeah, I'm going to put 1 Giant Growth over a Heartfire. We'll do a 1-1 split here, see how it goes. Yeah, Globe is cuttable, but yeah, it helps us trim on swamps nicely. Really, splashing casualties comes down to finding one of these new horizons more so than one of these swamps. But a swamp plus a Guild Globe could do it. I like 2 swamps, I think. That gives us 2, 3, 4, 5 sources of black. 2 of the 5 on their own cast the casualties. And we do run a risk of casualties being stuck in hand. Leyline Prowler offers up a second source of black as well, though. So I think it's worth doing, and I think we do it about like this. Is it 8-7-2? Might even mean 9-6. Because these aren't necessarily, these are unlikely to be turn 2 plays. Heartfire certainly isn't. Jaya's Greeting might be. But the fact that we're not even necessarily looking to red on turn 2 makes me think we need to go 9-6-2 here. And I actually think this is okay. We are leaning on this double New Horizons and Guild Globe as 3 early options that help with the low count on the other 2. Ogre has Reach. We'll see if we remember that in action, but there it is, written right on the card, Reach. And call this Grisly Fate. Or you have anything with 3? Nah, not really. Late Shift is good. We'll do that, sure. I'm going to call it the Late Shift, though. What shifted us? Probably the Jaya's Greeting was the thing that put us on that path. Or maybe it's Krenko that kind of said, no, you're just core. You're going to be red. We'll call it that. All right. I'm going to leave the lands as is so we can get going here. What do you think, gang? What's the average win rate for this deck? Win count. Nine green, here we are. Probably should keep this, though. We have Greeting to pick off their early play, and we can scry 1 to find land, and we're likely, if we draw land, to draw green. But it's really the strength of the scry 1 on Jaya's Greeting that has me keeping this, and the fact that we're on the draw. We have 2 shots at naturally finding a forest. It's not unlikely that we'll just find a forest before turn 2. Someone could do the hypergeometric on 9 sources, but it's not bad. And hey, we got Krenko on 3. Oh, thanks. Let's get to the right place here. Battlefield. Thank you.
Coming up, Millhouse.
Uh-oh, free Millhouse meme. We'll see if the magic gods treat that as being overly cocky. I'm going to drop the swamp. And good news that Jaya's Greeting is an instant. So if they drop something we can pick off, we'll certainly do that. Oh, of course we cannot do that. Darn it. Oh, man, so many old memes. our natural green. Well. I'm going to go ahead and play Krenko, because if they can't answer it, and they come up with only something with 3 toughness, we get to swing in. So let's do it. Yeah, right? Pollen Bright Druid on Krenko. If we draw a basic... Oh, we have the land, so if you know, we could even go Wrangler, Pollen Bright Druid if we... No, that's 2 green, but... I don't know. Yeah, we have Jaya's Greeting and Pollen Bright Druid, but if we have something to greet... Oh, actually, we've tapped out. So yeah, the best... It would be neat to be able to greet away a 3 and then pump up the Krenko. Do we need an upkeep stop? Doesn't look like we even need it. But it was good to set it, though. I suppose you're right. It's fine. If we wanted to pick something off and then scry, makes sense from Rob. We could play the Prowler. But really, let's just go with the Pollen Bright Druid play and then have Greeting up. Could even use it to take out the Weird if we want, but probably not. What do you think? I think I like going ahead and taking out this Weird. If they come up with a big spell here, it'll be nice to keep them from getting it back. And it clears the way for all this stuff next turn, so we're doing it. New Horizons. Do we want that? Tron would hold it. Also, it's a use your mana thing. We had no other way to use the mana this turn. And we get a scry. If we keep that, we can play this on a land, put another counter on the Krenko, and have 2 mana for a Wrangler or a Snare Spinner. I think that's worth it. Let's keep it. Yeah, but I don't want... They're tapped out. I wouldn't hold it for their turn. I mean, they're tapped out playing all the colors. I'm not going to give them an untap. I'm not going to let them untap all their lands before I try to finish off their Weird. I mean, it's a simple question right now. Can they answer the Krenko or not? Because if the answer is no, we've got this. We kind of force them to answer this right now. And if they do, we have a Horizons into something, and then we can try and rebuild after that. Maybe Horizons into Wrangler, and then crunch it up. Wow, it went back to hand and then it snap passed. Interesting snap pass. Why did they pass so quickly and not play this out? I'm smelling like I think Krenko gets put on top of our library here. That seems like a possible result. Given that, maybe I New Horizons onto something else. Or we even wait. Nah, I'll try it. I think we're going to get... something's getting yacked here from us. Makes me wonder if we should not put the counter... Well, no, this puts a counter, Tron, so if we're going to swing first, I do want to try and put a counter on. All right, that's okay, actually. That's good to see that that's what they were up to. This wasn't the most important thing in the world, and I kind of like even offering one of our 1/1s to this 2/2 in exchange for getting in with everything, so let's just crash. Wanderer is going to get rid of our Krenko, but boy, have we got a load of goblins. And I'm going to send them all at the Wanderer, I think. Let's just get that off the board. We lose 2, we get 5 left over, a dead Planeswalker, and we can follow with something. Spellkeeper Aid the Fallen, yeah. It's a little clunky, though. I think we can win around that. Maybe we don't care about it. That's fair. I tend to feel like we do have creatures with 4 power that I mean, I don't want them to exile this. But maybe we don't care that much. We could just go to face. Yeah, I do like having 5 next turn. I'm going to do it. I don't know. You might be right, Kenyon. Maybe I'm being over paranoid about a Planeswalker, but I also find that when I decide that I don't need to worry about a Planeswalker, suddenly I find myself in huge regret. Yeah, I could have mathed that better and figured out the exact number I could send to face, but basically I needed to send 5 at them and 2 at face, in which case they just blocked the 2 at face anyway, so it didn't matter by my math. I will go with Prowler, though, for more mana next turn. If we draw a basic, we'll have 6. We can't get our God with that. We need 7 to finale up our 5-mana God. So if we, regardless of land or no, next turn, we're probably going to work with this stuff. Wrangler into Crunch is fine. If we no land, this 2 into this 3 is great. Spellgorger can get the Crush Descent. So we got to keep that in mind, although, yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so now we could even Horizons into something like the Crunch. I think we want Horizons on the Prowler and then Crunch, or then Crunch Wrangler ahead of Crunch itself next turn. You want Horizons on the Wrangler? That's fair. I feel like it's going to naturally grow, though, and we get the Prowler on D this way, although I don't know what we're blocking. I guess we might double block Prowler plus something. Prowler's got Death Touch, so yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm playing this now. Yeah, we're 1 mana away from finale now. Yeah, it's Death Touch, Lifelink, and we have the tools to make it bigger. There's Proliferate and other stuff in the deck, so... Yeah, we can finale Krenko back. That's a great option as well. Oh, Krenko exiled, so there you go. Can't get it. Good call. Commander's Brew. What's their Wanderer loop? Maybe I'm missing that part. How are they looping Wanderer? Do they... Oh, yeah, because sorry, he's in their hand. Gotcha. I was looking at everything but the card we know about in their hand. And it's one or both. This is actually tough. Well, I guess we go get our Aronis, though, right? Let's make him deal with that. That's a pretty good thing to... because they can even exile it and it keeps coming back that way. And the Ronus does some work with these tokens for this turn. I guess they get to eat a couple, but the other get through. Krenko's been exiled, yep. Do we send them for 4 damage, or really 6 damage? And do we give it 2 of our tokens for 6 damage? I think at 13 the answer is yeah. Six damage or 4 damage in an Electromancer trade. The Aid the Fallen is scary, but we're hoping to just overload him here. Feel like this is going to be actually tough to get across the finish line, though. This is a really strong pairing, you know, this whole combo.
There are 2 kinds of mages. Let's cut you down to size.
So we'll do that. Yeah, no blocks. We're kind of hoping for something off the top here, maybe to clear this army. That'd be nice, but we're not blocking this Manticore. Basically ever. That's not what we want. Yeah, good call. One of the big issues with this format that people experience is a lot of us consistently would forget the static abilities on all the planeswalkers. It's really somehow tougher to remember than enchantments for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's just our brains aren't expecting it or something. But we don't really have much to do. I can send the Prowler, like... I guess we just do this. If they want to wander away the Crunch, fine. Get the Wanderer down to 1, that's fine. No, I don't think I knew about the Aid the Fallen. Certainly, I don't recall anybody in chat screaming about it, which I think they would have. Oh, are you feeling ignored, Dionysus? Here, let me give you some attention. Chump, take. I think we just got to keep taking here and hope we find something to enable a go wide. I don't know exactly even what I'm looking to draw, but trading any of our resources for that 4/4 didn't seem correct to me there. And we got Ronus coming back to set up possibilities next turn. So I guess we just play the land or just hold the land and replay Ronus next turn. Hope that's enough. There's no good attacks here that are better than waiting for Ronus, at least. Do I have to? What is this all attack? I got something forcing me? I just don't know what this exclamation point is. Is it this? Oh, can't attack alone. It's crunch. If I wanted to attack with crunch, I had to do extra. That's what the exclamation point was about. Still taking this too. Don't know what could get us from 8 to 0, but we really need Ronus to do something for us. I'm afraid they have a counterspell ready. I mean, they went ahead and exiled this and then gave us a couple turns. They know it's coming. I'm feeling like Oppo's probably going to be prepared for this, but I'm still going to say no blocks. Make them show me that they're prepared for it, and then if they are, we'll see what we can do after that. Oh, okay. I see. Well, still got nothing else. I think we lose this game, though. I don't know how we win from here. I'm going to offer them Ronus. They're going to use Wander on it. But they've got the value train going, and we are donezo, I think. I don't know how we win this. I guess Casualties of War would be an out to possibly getting a lot done.
Well, you know.
All right, let's move on. Rough start, but we got time wiped and outvalued. I'm gonna go check my drain hole, make sure I don't need to do a pumping here. One sec. It can wait. All right, I'll keep this. Hopefully we greet something. I want to find something to put this New Horizons counter on, but I can't throw this back. Well, not going to Jaya's greeting that. So now, really to maximize our New Horizons, we need a 2-drop creature off the top. Although they could play something that I want to greet here, I suppose. And we can just draw a Krenko, in which case we're happy to play Horizons after the Krenko. So no problem. Thank you, Magic Gods. We'll take the Krenko. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And we even have a thing to greet. Don't need another forest, so good scry as well. Pretty millhousey here so far. Let's see if they can answer the Krenko. Krenko wasn't good enough for us last game. Great job, Oppo, beating a Krenko that got multiple attacks in. I'm not sure I've ever attacked with Krenko multiple times like that and not won. So, more tip of the cap to last Oppo. Yeah, this is interesting, right? Either the person is making a terrible mistake playing this, or they know exactly what they're doing and are doing it just right. This is interesting. I love it. We get to go New Horizons onto a forest. Krenkoing up, and then Pollen Bright Druid proliferating? Oh my goodness. Or just putting it on there. Same thing. Proliferate, +1/+1 counter does the same thing here. Now they don't even have a chump on the Wall of Runes. No, don't! No! Last known? All right, at least we get last known. Last known info says even though they killed that, we get 3 counters. That's those... I'm never even sure how that works exactly, right? Because anybody who's learned the Magic rules, trying to sort it all out, would say, okay, so we check. The goblin's gone. Its power is 0. I get no tokens. But no, you get last known info because Magic is so easy. We could go crunch and have a 2 spell, but I just like the big old Tithe Bearer here. Give us more options for next turn and a big creature. If they play something we want a cruelty, we can do it on our next main phase anyway. You get some clunk no matter what, right? True. That's the trouble with Magic rules and really complicated systems in games. It's you're usually just choosing between your clunk. Where do we want to clunk this up? All right, let's go weird globe. But I'm going to hold up cruelty here and we'll globe after. Attacks. I should just crunch. We can globe next turn. I should use my mana. Play an attacker and pump our creature next turn. I was just excited to draw a card, but there's no need for that here. Unless we think that 2 toughness specifically isn't enough. Like if you really thought this needed to be at 3 toughness to survive Oppo, like this could get picked off by the drain 2 or whatever, but we're going to risk that for maxing our mana. Can't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can't play all of these unless we find a land, but maybe we will. I'm going to start here anyway. And we can 2 spell with these instead. Or 3 spell with these if we don't need the cruelty, but let's see if we need the cruelty and start with an attack. Let's see. None of the 2/3 and the 2/2 are not trades for the crunch or the weird. So I just like swinging away and offering them. Well, actually, they're at 14. Do we want to send the 1s? And if we do we want to just use Ob Nixilis with cruelty before blocks? I'm thinking they might do a double block to try and take out one of our bigger things. I think I'm willing to offer up small stuff here, because if they put all of their blockers on the small stuff, I'm thrilled that we're getting through here. And I'm willing to trade, even if they block only one of our big things, that's going to be good. But I think they might be in a spot where they double block, in which case we get to really blow them out. Now, they're going for that, so we still can. I think I'm going to go cruelty, save one of these, and then the weird kills the wall. That's worth it. Let's do that, and I'll take out the Reaper. I think the Reaper's the scarier thing here. All right, we'll throw Pollen Bright Druid counter on, say, one of the tokens. And send in everything again. Solid. They get to trade there, but we're still packing in a lot of damage, and we get to drop 2 spells after this even. Still going to be tough for them. We'll see what they got with the end game. I'm going to not play around sweepers here. I guess maybe, like, I don't remember the set well enough to understand how wide they could get. It would be really bad to not present lethal next turn, but it would also be bad to play into a sweeper. But I'm gonna not play around rares right now. If this were deeper in, like if we were in the middle of war season and I remembered this set super well, I might know exactly what to do there. Time, you know, playing around time wipes and the like. But really my question was, I know that sweepers exist. My question that I wasn't sure how to answer was whether or not the ability for that number of cards to block 5 total creatures existed. Yeah, we knew the sweepers got them out. My question is there a non-sweeper that gets them out of it that playing 1 more creature would prevent? That was what I wasn't sure of, but just went for it. All right, I'm going to give it 1 more game for the War of the Spark return here. Then I'm going to call it a stream. But we'll save this deck, and I'll try and finish it tomorrow so we can get it up to YouTube soon. Yeah, I don't think they could have put down enough blockers, Siriana, but I wasn't sure and played it super safe. This is not a great start, really, but a bear is a bear. We'll keep it. Got something to do on 2 at least. Grazer ramp incoming. Ooh, interesting. What about Wrangler here, and we can start crunching it, pollen brighting up the Wrangler with the trample. Also, Giant Growth next turn gives us Pollen Bright Druid, send in with Wrangler. If they have a block, we probably get Giant Growth for trample and turn Giant Growth into a removal spell. Oh yeah, I think this is going to be good. Sure, we'll take out the Wildcrafter. Let's just get rid of that now too. Oh, they're just going to take it. Okay. They smell the Giant Growth, but we get the Planeswalker, so that's all right by me.
Maybe our answers are elsewhere.
Interesting no block though. I would certainly be blocking there just to try and protect my Planeswalker, but I guess maybe, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, well, it's like the idea, of course, of the flavor of Planeswalkers is they're like another player over there. So they're trampling into the Planeswalker, not you. They're attacking that other Planeswalker. And now they're attacking with the Grazer. I don't know. That's a really weird attack to me. And boy, I'm not going to mess around. We're just going to... Does it self? Oh, it's enter the battlefield, so that's not going to matter. Where do we want this? Do we want it on the Wrangler? And they can put it on the Druid, then we can attack with both and like whatever. If they block the Druid, I'll trade happily. If they block the Wrangler, I will Giant Growth happily. Yeah, let's just let this happen. That's fine. And we keep the Jaya's Greeting for possible new plays from Oppo. Cruelty, not saved by the +3/+3 even, so well, that's too bad. Maybe if we put the counter there, we could save it, but this is fine. They use premium removal on our 2-drop. We have good stuff in the deck, we just gotta find some. Horizons, you know, I'll take that. We can throw this on a forest. We can increase the size of the Pollen Bright Druid to continue to be winning this race. And we leave both Giant Growth and Jaya's Greeting up. And we have the mana to cast Cruelty now. Bloom Hulk. We'll be bringing a cruel end to that thing. Grazer aggro in effect. I didn't, Kenyon. I threw it on the stack and then I hovered over the pay for it button to see. But it's generally been reliable on those. I mean, technically this is a race. What's this? Okay, now it's a tougher race. That's funny.
There is always hope.
Well, I think we're gonna greet that and grow that. Let's kill this thing. Cranko. Hard to pass up a Cranko, huh? I'm gonna keep the Cranko. And we're gonna hold the Giant Growth. Well, we could Giant Growth the Cranko, sure, and then have infinite chump blockers. That's an interesting plan. Yeah, maybe we do. And just send the Pollen Bright at Huatli right now. And then just take the 5 next turn.
This will not diminish the cause.
Boo earns. Well, at the very least, we can send Pollen Bright Druid at Huatli with the Giant Growth and end Huatli. Heartfire does somewhat of the job too, but actually doesn't. Unless I guess we could attack and then throw it, but really I'm just going to send in the Pollen Bright and Giant Growth it. I think that's right. The other thing we could do is, of course, Giant Growth block and trade for the Arbor, but then we just have Huatli still. I'm going to send and take out the Planeswalker and try to recover with draws after this. I wouldn't say Grazer dominated this game, Nuke. Grazer barely did anything except be a vessel. The things that dominated this game are Yang putting a counter on it, Spark Harvest killing our blocker, and Huatli making a stupid 2/5 actually relevant. That's what dominated. The Grazer is the vessel for the damage, but it is not the card that dominated this game. A subtle distinction, but a relevant one, I think. Not finding the outs we want to, but we do get block with Pollen Bright Druid, hurl the Druid at the Nurturer. That's our plan here. Sure, you can say things to be clever, but as someone trying to help lesser experienced players understand what's what, I want to be very clear that Grazer is not the dominating force here. Don't come away from this deck or this game thinking, Grazer is more playable than Ryan said. Grazer was not the thing here. It's the other things that made Grazer good. Wish we could sack artifacts. Oh, Charity Extractor also not good, but we're going to lose. This happens. I mean, Oppo, I don't like much about your deck, but it's going to beat me. That happens. Wow. And some days you lose to garbage. Griffin, my friend, you got a lot of garbage in your deck, but today it was enough. Yeah, decks are underperforming today, but I'm not getting too cranky about it. A little saline, of course, but not letting it ruin my day or anything. It's just how it's going. We're playing reasonably well in terms of our decisions. Griffin, welcome. I was just actually trashing your deck, to be honest. You can go back and watch. I tried to do it kindly, but I hated a lot of cards in your deck. You got me. They beat me today, but boy, was I like, am I really going to lose to these cards that I try very, very hard not to play? But you got there. Can't deny that. Good game. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how you do with it. Good luck with your three Huatlis. I don't even think, like, no number of Huatlis is enough to make me happy about Huatli. But certainly 3 of them explains many of your decisions. 3 Huatlis takes a lot of the cards I were saying were bad and makes them good. Definitely. But I don't like making bad cards good. I like making solid cards amazing, right? Hey, Murky Murk, welcome. Gonna go with the spinner to start here, try to get value out of the Pollen Bright later. Oh, that's what I'm saying, but it's taking bad things and making them great. But with 3, you're starting to justify yourself a lot more. 3 is a plan for sure. 3 means you're gonna have Huatli almost every game. And in that case, the bad cards that you're making amazing with Huatli is a much more defensible strategy for sure. Riders here, we're just gonna get, stay defensive for a little bit and try to get riders big enough eventually. If we draw a land, hopefully we draw a forest and we can 2-spell with this stuff. All right, found our land. What do we want to do here? I think I like Heartfire. Like, if we go Pollen Bright Druid and throw it on even like the Snare Spinner, we can send both. And then they might double block the Rioters, in which case we chuck the Pollen Bright Druid at one of the blockers, and then we blow them out. So I'm going to try for that. If they don't double block, fine, and we crunch. If they double block, we Heartfire and blow them out. Oh. Phew. Thanks for the cancel. Not what I wanted to cast. I'm glad this only didn't had more than one target, because if this had more than one target, it would have just fired off onto it. But it's any target, so we had them all. Emergent Zone is a stretch. This is a card I can't really imagine playing. I think I tried it early in the format to see. And once again, of course, you can come up with spots where it does something interesting, but it's just too hard on your mana. It is not free to play a land that does not tap for colored mana in a format where we talk all the time about how the baseline mana base in Limited is not good by Magic standards. It's a terrible mana base. So you don't want to make it worse with lands that produce no color. Unless it's like your 18th, 19th, you know, you're treating it like a spell almost. Not much to do here, but keep swinging. I'm going to hold the Pollen Bright Druid. I guess I could hold the Wrangler back as well, but I would trade Wrangler for the Enforcer, so I'm just going to swing away with everything but the Druid and see. Oppo has a pause that's not explained by anything on board, I don't think. Oh, no, they can do this. They could sack their Emergence Zone. So, yes, it is explained by the board. This is explained by this land I was just talking about. Tron, I really think it's because people have a mentality about lands like this is that they're free. Why not include it? It's a land. I get to play it for free. I just don't think people see the that downside. And here we're gonna sack the Pollen Bright Druid to blow out this attempt to band together. And it's these two. Yeah, they're going for the. Yeah, this is great for us. So bye, Peggy. Or we could take out the Pouncing Lynx as well, but I think Pegasus is scarier. He does have... Oh, it's first strike on their turn, which means it can't even, like, eat a Wrangler. So, yeah, I like that. I like taking out the Peggy. Boy, Kenyon, I don't think it is. Have you ever tried casting your spells, Kenyon, versus not? Like, have you tried those two things? Not casting your spells versus, like, casting them? I'm totally into casting my spells. I'm just being a little snarky, but I mean, that's what I mean. Like, I just think I would not risk it for anything. Well, this is a cruel fate here with excellent removal in hand, but no land to be able to do it. So we got to pass. You really have to know what you're doing, though, right, Kenyon? It is not for the average Magic mind to just throw colorless lands willy-nilly into a deck. You really have to know what you're doing. And in this case, really have to smell that Oppo's up to something. I don't know how we win this from here if we don't find black mana or action. But I also can't quite bring myself to call what is obviously a trick here. So I'm going to say no blocks. But it's exactly my point, right? Like, I mean, this is the risk. I do like casting my spells. I don't, you know, I've been splashing a lot less. If there's anything that I've been, anything in my game that has changed, like, over the last 5 to 10 years, it's my willingness to splash. It's gotten really a lot lower. Here, we can actually go get our ability to splash these cruelties, so we're going to do that. I think it's too late, though. Tulsimir is too good. And so I think we're going to 0-3. We all thought this deck was fine, but we're about to 0-3 with it, so there you go. I guess we don't need to come back and play this game some other time. We're going to just lose right now today for you. Actually, I don't have, like, Krenko or anything, do I? No. All right, so... Oh, did we win? Oh, I just didn't put in the win yet, then. My record says 0-2, and I believed it. Did we win? I don't remember winning. Yeah, we're going to get Leyline Prowler. That's the... Yes, that's what we're getting. Here. We'll go here. Anyway, colorless lands, I think, are a huge cost. Kenyon thinks maybe that point is overstated in general a little bit, but I think it's. I mean, look at how they got away with here. Jeez, if this colorless land was supposed to have been a second plains and they never drew their other plains, they could have been stuck on white the whole game with that. Yeah, I know Kenyon and I certainly agree that this is not a land to do it for, right? Well, this was an event of getting beat up by cards I don't respect, apparently. I mean, I came around a bit on the Huatli deck once I learned from our Oppo that they had 3 copies of Huatli to support all those crappy high toughness cards. But there is no justification for that land. That's a really interesting one. Yeah, Emergence Zone, you should never play Emergence Zone in War of the Spark Limited. There, I said it. Like, I just don't think there's a deck you could show me that's like, yes, that's the one that's worth it. Whereas Karn's Bastion is tempting, because there are decks that are really doing the proliferate thing. But what I tend to do with those decks is treat something like Bastion as an 18th land anyway. I still try to have my sources of color, but it depends on what your deck is. Another place where those lands can be played and not be a disaster in my mind is when you're heavy, heavy, heavy one color. Like, let's say you're, if you didn't play a colorless land, you'd be playing a 11-6 type mana base anyway, because, like, you have your heavy one color and very, very kind of splashing another, in which case 11-6 is kind of overkill for the second color. In which case, you could justify, like, all right, we're going to play the Bastion and go 5 on the splash color. But I have become more and more conservative about having the colors to cast my spells. And I think it is an interesting question. It's a similar question to how many tap duels do you want to play in an aggressive deck, right? Having dual lands is so great for, like, your Boros decks, but if they enter the battlefield tapped, you're really hurting the basic plan of most Boros decks. So that's a similar place too. Like, when do you play tap duels for Boros versus when do you play colored lands for powerful colorless lands in a deck that has some color requirements, right? All right, well, this is a pretty good mood for me for having gone 1-3, but I didn't think I played terribly. I didn't think I drafted terribly. I think it just went terribly, and that's how it goes sometimes, right? So we'll claim the prize. Here, I'll make myself feel better by getting some gems. Oh, actually, this is on an account where I might not have them. Yeah, this actually, never mind. This is just going to be cards. I don't know if this account has anything filled out or not. I don't think so. I don't think we're 4x'd anywhere on this one. This Ravnica sitting there on 9 packs. So close, Ravnica. All right, well, I'm going to be in a surprisingly good mood for a 1-3 finish with a deck I thought was pretty great. But I'm going to take the spiky mentality about it and feel like, as far as my plays went, my play was solid. I'm not saying I played perfectly, but I've played a lot worse to a lot better results than today. So I'll take the solid play, if not the solid result. Bye, YouTube friends.